For hearts that are torn, we perform this act of Kriya. Those of you wearing the ribbon, please repeat after me. Baruch,
Baruch,
Dayan,
Dayan,
Ha'emet.
Amen.
Praised are you, Adonai, our God,
Praise are you, Adonai, our God,
Judge of truth.
Judge of truth.
Death has taken our beloved, Evelyn Lewis. Our friends grieve in their darkened world. In their silence, there is lamentation. In their tears, there is loneliness. Lost in their sorrow, may they find the presence of loving friends. Hear them, O God, and be with them. For Evie's love that united us in life and which death cannot sever. For her companionship that we shared along life's path and which continues through the tenderness of memory. For the gifts of her heart and mind that brought us joy and happiness and is now a precious remembrance. For all these and more, we give our thanks to God. In this time of grief, we listen to the voice of our sacred scriptures. It brings us the ever new message of God's nearness. It tells of our kinship with our Creator, in light as in darkness, in joy as in sorrow, in life as in death. Shivit Adonai lenegdi tamiti mimini balemut Lachen samachni bi biagel kevodi afsani yishkam laveta Ki lo tazov nafshi lishol lo tikein chasidcha lirot shachar תודיעני ורחיים, שש מחורת פניך, מימות ימינך נצר. The psalmist says, I have set the eternal always before me. God is at my side, I shall not be moved. Therefore does my heart exult, my soul rejoice, for my being is secure. You do not abandon us to death, nor let your faithful ones see destruction. Continue, O God, to show us the path of life. May your presence always be your gift to us. Mourning is the price we pay for having the courage to love others. Even in grief, we know that the wonder of human life is too complex and too magnificent to be memorialized in endless pain. The gifts of spirit our loved ones gave us cannot be measured or weighed, nor can they be lost or even tarnished by time. Even in our darkest hours, we know that some of their light and their warmth will always be with us, bringing comfort and courage, and in the fullness of time, healing and peace. As we reflect on the life of Evelyn Lewis, perhaps this tale will give us insight into the mysteries of her life and death. And the child asked, tell me of life. And the sage answered, life, my child, is a mystery. We do not ask to be born, nor do we even understand the meaning of birth, of creation. We grow and experience life's pleasures and pains. We love, and slowly, oh so slowly, we come to realize that we have become, that we are. At that moment, we humble ourselves before the mystery of life and quietly say, though I knew not, I have been granted the most precious gift of all, the gift of life. And the child asked, tell me of death. And the sage answered, death, my child, is a mystery. It is the inevitable return of the gift of life, the gift which came free to us. We live as the trustee of that mysterious being, of that unexplainable becoming. Yes, you and I are but the trustees of life. We nurture it, we delight in it. we give of it to others. And at the appointed time, we sadly, yet with pride, return it from whence we came. The beauty, my child, is that what we are, what we have become, remains long after the gift has been returned. It remains as a precious keepsake with our loved ones who live on. The 23rd Psalm. Mizmor leDavid, Adonai roi lo echsar. Adonai roi lo echsar. Dino sheyarbitzeni, al mei menuchot yenahaleni. Nafshi shovev yancheni v'maglei tzedek lema'an shemo. Gam ki elech v'geit zamavet lo irara ki ata imadi. Shivtecha mishantecha hema yenachamuni. Taharoch lefanai, shulchan neged zorerai. Dishanta v'shemen roshi, kosi rivaya. Ach tov v'chesed yirdefuni kol yemei chayai. V'shavti b'veit Adonai le'orech yamim, Adonai roi lo echsar. I invite you to read the psalm with me. You'll find it inside of the cover of your memorial pamphlet. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. It is a fearful thing to love what death can touch. A fearful thing to love, hope, dream, to be, and oh, to lose. A thing for fools this, and a holy thing to love. For your life has lived in me, your laugh once lifted me, your word was gift to me. To remember this brings a painful joy. To the human thing love a holy thing, to love what death has touched. From Proverbs chapter 31. Eshet Chayil, a woman of valor. A woman of valor, seek her out, for she is to be valued above rubies. Her husband trusts her, and they cannot fail to prosper. All the days of her life she is good to him. She opens her hands to those in need and offers her help to the poor. Adorned with strength and dignity, she looks to the future with cheerful trust. Her speech is wise, and the law of kindness is on her lips. Both her children rise up to call her blessed. Her husband likewise praises her. Many women have done well, but you surpass them all. In his sorrow, Job cried out, Adonai natan v'Adonai lakach, Yehi Shem Adonai mevorach. God has given, God has taken away. Blessed be the name of God. An ancient people, we are well acquainted with grief and with the valley of shadows. Death and sorrow are not strangers to us. And yet the centuries have taught us that a good name endures beyond the grave and that there is strength in faith. With Job, we say, Adonai Natan, God, you have given. You gave us Evelyn Lewis, a loved one who will not be forgotten. And for all that was good and enduring in her life, we offer the deepest thanks of our hearts. Adonai Lakach, God, you have taken away. And we pray for the strength to turn our broken hearts into an altar of trust before which we acknowledge your sovereignty and your love. As we now say, Yishem Adonai Mevorach, blessed be the name of God, now and forever. I know a mother who likes to say that we shouldn't have a Hallmark holiday the second Sunday in May, that every day should be Mother's Day. And for those who knew and loved Evelyn Lewis, this was indeed the case. Every day was an opportunity to express love and gratitude for the life she lived and the gifts of her heart and soul that are treasured memories. We know that our tradition instructs us twice in the Torah to honor our mothers and fathers. But in last week's Torah portion, in the center of the Holiness Code, that instructs us on a life well lived, we read, a person holds one's father and mother in awe, and they will guard my Shabbat, I am your God. When we reflect on Evie's life, on the devotion of a woman who was mom and nanny, friend and wife, we are in awe of her goodness and her kindness. And we are called upon to celebrate the blessing of her years. She was the guardian of Jewish tradition, the matriarch at whose Lindenhurst home the pot of chicken soup brought the family together to celebrate the holidays, to ensure Judaism lived on in the generations that came after her. Born on March 17, 1926, Evelyn was one of Hyman and Ida Keshel's 3 children and their only daughter. Her brothers Jack and Irving have predeceased her. She grew up in New York, having been born in the city, but moved to Long Island when she married Morty. His mother, who lived 2 floors below Evelyn, introduced the 2 of them while Morty was still in service. A love that grew through the letters from home. They were married after the war on October 25th, 1947. They shared 66 years together before he died in April of 2014. Years that blessed them with their 3 children, Joan and Alan and Eileen, and ultimately their spouses, Doug, Rhonda, and Artie. At her death, Evie was fortunate to have 8 grandchildren and their spouses and 9 great-grandchildren. While the kids were growing up, they always had people over at their house. Everybody was welcome there. Everyone was always there, friends, neighbors alike. For the mom who stayed at home and found nothing but immense pleasure in raising her kids and grandkids through the years, there is no better legacy she could leave behind. Evelyn Lewis always thought of others before herself, sometimes even babysitting as many as 10 different kids at the same time and loving every minute of it. There was nothing she wouldn't do for the kids, from cheering them on in the bleachers at softball or baseball games, or being at every chorus concert or school event, or answering the call at 2 a.m. or 4 a.m. to come and pick up one of the kids, often Sierra, who wanted to sleep at their house. You could always count on Nanny and Poppy. They were always there. And it was in their basement that there was always the proverbial family grocery store, where everyone would come to help themselves to their inordinate supply of paper goods and canned foods and other supplies. In their years together, she and Morty traveled, took cruises, went to the mountains, visiting friends they had kept since the early years. and she was so devoted to him. They had the best of relationships. And even if he would drive her a little crazy, she always did everything for him all the time. They loved to dance, always had to be the first ones on the dance floor at any party or celebration. And Evie was always dressed nicely, with her hair and her nails done, even through these final months of her life. Evie and Morty moved to Florida to be with Joan and Doug and the girls, and especially Jody, who held a special place in her heart. I know that the family enjoyed every moment they had with her and felt privileged to have that time over the years. Evelyn Lewis was a witty, loving, and beautiful person, a wonderful human being with a heart of gold. She was a 3-time-a-week mahjong maven, a terrific woman who will be very much missed. Evelyn Lewis lived a life that reflected some of the most important values of our biblical ancestors. Like Sarah, she oozed hospitality. Like Rebecca, she was filled with kindness and grace. Like Ruth, she demonstrated loyalty and commitment. And like the heroine Esther, she was a woman of ometz lev, a heart of strength and endurance. May these values that defined her life be the treasured gift she passes on to the generations that follow in her footsteps. And may the memory of her life and legacy always be for a blessing. Tehei nishmata tzura b'tzura chaim, may her soul be bound up in the bonds of eternal life. And let us say, Amen. Al Mukomad Tavo B'Shalom, may Evelyn Lewis come to her eternal home in peace. I invite you to rise as the casket is lowered, and I intone the memorial prayer, El Malei Rachamim. El Malei Rachamim, Shochen Bamromin, Amsei Menucha Nechona, Tachat Kanfei Ashkina, Im Kedoshim Uteharim, Kezoar Harakia Mazhirim Et Nishmat, Yochevet Golda Bat Haim Vaida, Shalchal Olama, Malarachamim, Yasirei Havasete Knafav Leolamim, Vayitzro B'tzor Chayim Et Nishmata, Adonai Unachalata V'tanuach B'Shalom Al Mishkava V'nomar Amen. Compassionate God, eternal Spirit of the universe, grant perfect rest in your sheltering presence to Yocheved Golda, to Evelyn Lewis, who has entered eternity. O God of mercy, let her find refuge in the shadow of your wings, and let her soul be bound up in the bonds of everlasting life. God is her inheritance. May she rest in peace. And let us say, Amen. Early or late, all must answer the summons to return to the source of being. For we lose our hold on life when our time has come, as the leaf falls from the branch when the day is done. The deeds of the righteous enrich us all as the fallen leaf enriches the soil beneath. The dust returns to the earth, the spirit lives on with God. Like the stars by day, our beloved dead are not seen by mortal eyes. They shine on forever. Theirs is eternal peace. Let us be thankful for the companionship that continues in a love stronger than death. Sanctifying the name of God, we honor Evelyn's memory as we join together in the reciting of Mourner's Kaddish, which is on the back page of your memorial pin. Cherishing her memory and supporting the mourning family, we say, Yitkadal, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabba, B'yalma divrach irute, B'yamlich malchute, B'chayechon, B'yomechon, B'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael, B'agala v'zman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabba mevorach le'alam olmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal shemei d'kudasha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechamata. Damiran li'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemayim. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. V'imru Amen. Oseh shalom nimromav. Huya aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael. V'imru Amen. Like a wave arising from the ocean's dance, so do we arise from the dance of God. Like a wave returning from the rocky shore, its form given to chaos, but its essence restored in the ocean's unity. So do we return from life's end, recycled in holiness, to dance once more. Awesome and wondrous is the dance of God. I'm going to place some earth from the land of Israel into the grave, fulfilling the custom of linking our people and our homeland in death as in life. Though we cannot bury everyone in Israel, we bury a little bit of Israel with every Jewish person. I'm going to ask Doug to say a word or two just before we conclude. And then in concluding, I'll then invite those of you who wish to make your way to the graveside to place some earth into the grave. And David has plastic cups. You can individually take a cup, scoop some earth and place it in the grave. I ask that you approach the grave slowly and again maintain social distancing, allowing those who are before you to complete placing their earth into the grave and moving aside before you approach. The cups are going to be on which side? This side? They'll be back here. David will have them. Okay. Doug, you wanted to say a word or two before we
I just want to thank everybody for coming under these circumstances. You know, we can't have anything back at our house right now, but I promise you when we have the unveiling, we'll have a party for Evie, like she likes to dance and everything else. It'll give us a chance to celebrate her life instead of burying her at that time. I want to thank everybody again, David and staff, Rabbi, for inconvenienced circumstances, and everyone else that made the trip here from far and near. Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you, Doug. Hamakom yenachem etchem b'toch shavlei Tzion v'Yerushalayim. Ask all who are gathered here to speak to the mourning family and say, may God console you.
May God console you
With all who mourn.
with all who mourn
In Zion and Jerusalem.
in Zion and Jerusalem.
Now we go forth in peace to life. May Evie's memory be for a blessing, and may God comfort each and every one of you. Again, invite you to approach from this direction to place some earth in the grave, if you so choose.